It's a crossover edition of the Locked On Eagles and Locked On Cowboys podcast. We'd like to thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Check out the new Locked On NFL show. 2 shows every single day. One in the morning with Tyler Rowland, one in the afternoon with Tony Wiggins for some real NFL talk, wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. All right, Gino, let's talk about some keys to victory. What are the 3 things the Eagles need to do to secure this win over Dallas?
I'll continue where we just left off. I think, number one, lean into running the football. Saquon Barkley, he's a guy that he has been efficient in some spots after he gets going. It might take him 1 to 2 to 4 touches to get going, but after a while, he always just hammers home a big run at some point in the second half that is almost backbreaking for a defense. Continue to run the ball. Number 2, possess the ball for a long time. Dallas is going to try and do that against you. You want to limit the amount of possessions this Eagles offense has. Use it against them. Possess the ball. That goes hand in hand with the run game, and it goes into my final one. Be efficient in the red zone. They've gotten down into the red zone a ton. If you look at that Jags game last week, they were able to punch it in, but there's a lot of spots where they're leaving points on the board. Don't allow Dallas to hang around when you leave 8 to 10 points on the board like you did against the Jaguars last week. It came back to bite you against Atlanta, almost came back to bite you last week. But this week against Dallas, I think you know the plan. Stick with the run, possess the football, and punch it in the red zone.
For Dallas, it's really as simple as don't give away yardage. Last week, we saw a bunch of dumb penalties, just to say. I mean, they had a 12-man on the field penalty on a 4th and 1. Coming out of halftime, Mike McCarthy is giving an interview that was pre-recorded about how, hey, we need to stay ahead of the chains. We got to stay ahead of the sticks. That's how we win this game. As that interview is playing, Terrence Steele false starts in the first play of the game. Like
poetry.
When you have a backup quarterback, you can't give away yardage. It's not just penalties. It's making the right plays on special teams. It's not dropping passes, right? You've got to – yards are going to be hard to come by in this game when you have Cooper Rush playing. So don't give away yardage. On defense, you're going to surrender yards. Like Philadelphia is going to move the ball up and down the field, but you have to get stops in the red zone. Make them kick field goals. Make them try to go for it on 4th down. Figure out ways to try to prolong this game. And the number one thing for Dallas is turnovers. Like going into this game, they are just they don't have the talent Philadelphia does. They have injuries. They have massive injuries. The Pro Bowl and All-Pro players. But turnovers in the NFL can be the great equalizer, right? And the Cowboys have been awful with turnovers this year. But if you're +2, +3 in the turnover margin this week, that's how you stay alive in these games. So, Dallas is probably going to need a lot of turnover luck to win it. But we see it every week. Teams that end up being +2, +3 win games that they shouldn't.
I think it's a great point because if you look at the last 4 victories, Jalen Hurts has not turned the ball over a single time, whether it's an interception nor a fumble. You look at the first 4 games, though, 2-2. He was turning the ball over like he didn't want to hang on to the thing, and he just ate a whole bunch of buttered popcorn. That's the way Dallas has to win the game. Mm-hmm. To an extent, they have to be a little bit aggressive on defense, in my opinion. I think you have to make Jalen Hurts read things pre-snap, post-snap, and give him multiple looks. Even though he has been good going through his progressions, he's also very aggressive. He's going to put the ball in spots for his playmakers to make plays, but those are tight window throws where you're off an inch, you're off up or down 1 degree, it could be an interception. So that's how you have to win the game if you're the Cowboys. And I think at the end of the day, there it goes again. I keep saying at the end of the day, it might come down to whoever can be the better kicker in this one. Jake Elliott, he was primed for the last couple seasons. He's been iffy on some of these +50 field goals, hit the upright last week. But Brandon Aubrey, man, like what an absolute freak of an athlete.
Honestly, that's going to be a big on kickoffs, right? If you just down the ball in the end zone, you get it at the 30.
Mm-hmm.
If the Cowboys offense can get 20, 22 yards every drive, you are in Brandon Aubrey field goal range.
Let him kick it.
Yeah, a 65-yard field goal. Like he easily has a distance. You're right. Like this could be a game where the field goal kickers matter. Gino, the last thing I want to say is I just wish this game had more juice for Dallas. Like I know it's huge for Philadelphia. They obviously have to win to keep pace for Washington, but as a Cowboy fan, you want these games to matter a lot. And unfortunately, without Dak and with the Cowboys being at 3-5, it just doesn't have the same juice as some of the other Philly Dallas games before. And I know Philly fans that are listening to this don't care at all. It's not quite the same. That's all I had to say.
No, I'm with you. We've only seen Dak versus Jalen one time. Like, are we going to be able to have a series where we're like, oh, it's 4-3? Can this be Jalen Hurts' grudge match to get it back to even? And I think we're going to see that with Jaden Daniels now in the rotation. At least 3 of the 4 teams have it figured out at the quarterback position. Maybe the Giants one day get into this rotation.
Let's hope not.
But I'm with you. I always say, and I think I said this last year on the crossover, like, it's the Joker and Batman. We need each other. Like, we can't live without one another. And the best games are when these teams are the best and they matter the most. I think back to 2018, the game where the field goal or the kickoff goes and 6 Eagles are landing on top of him. There's like, oh, no clear evidence. And it's like that game mattered so much to Philly, and it's so inconsequential in the grand scheme of things.
Or the game last year between Philly and Dallas, right? Like a game that was an awesome game.
Yeah, and it decided the entire race in the NFC East. Like, that's great football. And I know one person who's a little upset about that. That's Jura. He wants to make his money, and he would love for this one to be a nice primetime game. Okay, Marcus, how weird is it that it's on CBS, though?
It is strange. Right?
I don't like it.
Yeah,
Eagles Cowboys on CBS, that does not feel
I know.
right.
To me, this always feel like, Sunday afternoon Fox games with Joe Buck.
America
and
game of the week. Yes, every single week.
So that's just, it's different, but hey, maybe CBS will be nice if we get a good game. So we'll see.